AEW will provide a medical update on Tony Khan on tonight's episode of AEW Collision on TNT. WWE reportedly considers two recent promos as the end of the PG era. The reason why so few people actually switched brands last night on night one of the WWE draft has been revealed. An update on how many pay-per-view buys AEW Dynasty did. Plus, Rey Fenix has been medically cleared and will compete for the first time since October tonight on AEW Collision. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off with a medical update on AEW President, CEO, and founder Tony Khan, because AEW has announced there will be a medical update on Tony Khan during tonight's episode of AEW Collision on TNT. The CEO was attacked by Jack Perry and the Young Bucks, with Kazuchika Okada watching on during Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Of course, he has been seen wearing a neck brace to continue selling the injury during media appearances since then, including during the NFL draft this past week inside the draft room of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and interviews on the NFL Network as well. Now, fans shouldn't have to wait long for answers pertaining to his condition, however, after the company confirmed in a post to social media that it will be addressed during Collision. Post read, quote, "We'll have an update on the medical condition of AEW General Manager and CEO Tony Khan after he was attacked by the Elite on AEW Dynamite," the announcement read. The attack on Khan was the first time Perry had been featured on AEW Dynamite television for the first time in 8 months, having spent time away from the company of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The seeds for his return were sown with the Young Bucks airing footage of the all-in altercation between he and CM Punk during Dynamite in the lead-in to their tag team title ladder match against FTR at Dynasty, during which he finally returned to hand the Bucks the title victory and formally align with the Elite alongside them and Kazuchika Okada at AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view last weekend. So where do you think they're going to go with this announcement and a medical update on Tony Khan, considering he has done media appearances this week and appeared during the NFL draft? Do you think we'll hear from Tony Khan tonight? What would you do if you were booking this? Let me know your thoughts as always in the comment section below. Now, have we reached the end of an era in WWE when it comes to the PG era? Now, we know it's a new era with Paul Triple H Levesque taking over the creative helm of WWE and Vince McMahon's departure from the company, but the divisive PG era may finally be at an end. Over the past few months, there have been noticeable deviations from the previous softer approach to weekly television. Both Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes have shed blood in segments, and the expletives picked up on the road to WrestleMania, especially during The Rock's segments. Dave Meltzer wrote during this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that such segments involving The Rock as well as Paul Heyman are being spoken of as the end of the PG era. He adds that there has been no flat decision made on whether the company as a whole is heading in that direction, but he speculated that a decision will be made at the end of the year when Raw goes to Netflix and NXT to the CW. That is a decision that will largely come down to the stance the broadcasters and subsequent sponsors take on the matter. However, Meltzer concludes that outside of television and in terms of the bigger picture, there is much less emphasis on keeping things PG. WWE first introduced its PG product in 2008 as a swift departure from the edgy tone fans were familiar with during the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression eras. The decision, while divisive in its translation to programming, was made to attract a wider general audience and thus more lucrative sponsors. And while the argument is often made that it preceded a downward curve in programming quality, there is more than enough merit to the counterpoint from a fiscal standpoint. So do you think we've come to the end of the PG era, and what would you call this new era? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, one of the criticisms last night of night one of the WWE draft on SmackDown on Fox was that the rosters are largely the same after the first night of the draft. Now, the first portion of the 2024 WWE draft has officially concluded, and it seems there are some people who were left disappointed. The April 26 SmackDown featured both brands picking stars for their respective rosters, and despite the anticipation of a lot of chopping and changing between Raw and SmackDown, out of the 16 draft picks that were made on television, only 6 actually saw a wrestler or team switch brands. Not only that, but during the supplemental draft that took place on social media, only 2 of the 6 picks that were made saw a brand switch. Now, this was reportedly all by design, as Fightful Select has reported that the notion of retaining familiar talent was important for the first night of drafting. However, when it comes to the April 29 Raw, the second part of the draft, there will be a lot more switches between brands and a lot more NXT talent expected to be integrated into the program. Of the 22 picks made on April 26, both on TV and social media, only 3 picks involved NXT. Those were Carmelo Hayes and Baron Corbin moving to SmackDown, while Kiana James was moved to Raw. The April 29 Raw is set to have more picks for both brands, given that Raw is 3 hours long, while SmackDown is only 2. And there would also be a completely fresh pool of performers to choose from. The pool includes the likes of CM Punk, The Judgment Day, and Drew McIntyre from Raw, Kevin Owens, Jade Cargill, and Damage Control from SmackDown, and the entire NXT roster. The final rosters will be locked in after the Backlash Premium Live event in Lyon, France on May 4, meaning the first night of the finalized rosters will be the May 6 Raw in Hartford, Connecticut. So what do you expect to change Monday night on Raw? Let me know your predictions for that too. Now, let's talk about AEW Dynasty and the amount of pay-per-view buys for AEW's latest pay-per-view offering. Dynasty has been widely regarded as one of AEW's strongest pay-per-views in recent memory, thanks to the dream match between Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, the shocking return of Jack Perry, and the crowning moments of both Willow Nightingale and Swerve Strickland as two of the company's top champions. However, the reported viewership for the event was significantly down compared to some of the recent pay-per-view offerings from AEW. According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dynasty's total number of buys is approximately 122,000 across both TV and streaming platforms. Compared to Revolution in March, which was headlined by Sting's retirement match, Dynasty was down by over 41% on TV buys and 30% on streaming buys, with Revolution being the third highest bought pay-per-view in AEW history. Meltzer noted that while the 122,000 number is merely an estimate, as the final number is still yet to be finalized, the number is considered low, even compared to the pay-per-views at the end of 2023. For comparison, Meltzer mentioned that Dynasty was down by 28.8% compared to World's End on December 30 and was way behind Full Gear on November 18, with both shows totaling around 135,000 buys once all the figures had been finalized. Meltzer put the number being down compared to World's End to MJF not being part of the company as of late, claiming that the former AEW World Champion being injured has hurt AEW on both buy rates and television ratings. As far as competition, on April 21st, Dynasty went up against Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs, and the NHL playoffs. However, World's End outperformed Dynasty despite competing with the NFL, which Meltzer claims is a far more formidable competitor. AEW will be looking to outperform Dynasty when the company returns to pay-per-view on May 26 for the 6th annual Double or Nothing pay-per-view in Las Vegas, Nevada. And finally, a bit of an update when it comes to Rey Fénix, who's been out of action for quite some time, but now the former AEW International Champion is back. The April 27 AEW Collision is airing live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, and it just got a whole lot bigger as the former International and Tag Team and Trios Champion Rey Fénix will make his return to the company. Fénix's run as International Champion ended in October to Orange Cassidy in extremely short fashion after it was revealed that he had been working through a series of nagging injuries. All became too much for the Masked Man, and after he dropped the title, he took some time away to heal. After 6 months on the shelf, AEW officially announced via social media that Fénix has been medically cleared to compete and will take on the Beast Mortos tonight on Collision. Mortos himself will be making his Collision debut during tonight's bout, having only wrestled one match for AEW under his previous name of Black Taurus. Fénix and Mortos have faced each other a number of times over the years in companies like AAA, MLW, and Impact Wrestling, now known as TNA Wrestling. The most recent bout between them occurred at PWG's 20 Mystery Vortex event in July 2023, where Fénix picked up the victory. Fénix has been gearing up for a return to action for quite some time, as it was recently announced that he and his brother Penta El Zero Miedo will be hosting an event at the same venue that used to host Lucha Underground promotion in the 2010s. Elsewhere on the show, Bullet Club Gold will defend the Unified World Trios Championships against Top Flight and Action Andretti. Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm will take on Anna Jay in a non-title bout. And former NXT UK's Tag Team Champions, the Grizzled Young Veterans, will make their AEW debut against the Acclaimed. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming. However you come across this video today, be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.